Hello again, everybody. So welcome back. So this is my session. Just going to give everybody a moment or two just to get back into the room. So as you can probably tell, this session is all about if you're thinking or flirting with the idea of freelancing in L&D. Are you wondering if the grass is greener? So like I said, we're just going to give everybody a couple of minutes just to get into the main room. Make sure that we're going to get chat happy in this. I'm going to be asking you to share and score yourselves on things. So make sure that you're okay with using the chat. You can also use emojis. My camera's here, just to give you some idea. My camera's here, my slides are there, and you're there. So that's why I may be darting around a little bit, just because my chat is over at this side. So hello everybody in the chat. We've already done the where are you in the world and what the weather's doing. So I want to say, what was the last takeaway that you've had? Just while we give it one more minute while everybody's coming in, and then we're going to get started. So last takeaway for me, I had a dirty Domino's. Have to admit, it was Texas barbecue is my thing. Hi Kia, hi Edward, hi everybody. Let's see what's everybody else got. I recently found, and this may be a UK thing, but German doner, the chicken doner kebab, amazing, love it. Domino's, Texas barbecue, yes, love that. It is the classic. Okay. So busy transitioning, 5-year experience in homeschool environment. Wow. That must be so interesting, dealing with that dynamic of like the homeschool side of things. Okay, right, gonna get going. So like I said, this session is all about if you are thinking of freelancing. Maybe you're thinking about it now, maybe you're thinking it's something to do down the line. Just to give you a bit of background about me, my name's Kim Ellis, and I've been in the world of L&D for nearly 20 years. I've been a freelancer for nearly 8, and last year I started a community just for freelancers in L&D called L&D Free Spirits. So I will be sharing links to that later on. But first of all, like I said, I'm going to be getting a little bit real with you. It is not all unicorns and rainbows, just to put that out there. Sometimes some of the stuff that you see on the social media, you'll be thinking, well, actually, they look like they're getting thousands. They've got this, they've got that. I'm going to give you a good reality check now for this thing. Okay, so in the chat, let me know, are you seriously thinking of becoming self-employed in the next 6 months, 12 months? So what do you think? Let's have a look at the chat. Are you thinking of dabbling? Are you wanting to cross over to the dark side? So we've got not really, already there. Yes, so we're getting a bit of a mixture. So we've got a few not reallys, but it might be something that's a never say never. It's always good to know where your career could take you and what the possibilities are, so you can then think, actually, no, freelancing isn't for me. Or freelancing, yeah, that sounds freaking awesome, which I think is. Maybe in 2 years on the bounty road to freelancing. Love that, Michael. So Sophia says she'd love to ease into freelance, but not sure if it's a good fit. So this is the thing. It's not for everybody. First thing that you need to understand is that freelancing isn't a lifestyle upgrade. It's a mindset shift. So literally, when I put into Canva, freelancer, this image popped up. I was like, okay, I have never worked from a beach, ever. Just putting that out there. Like I say, it's a mindset shift. It's a business shift, because this is the thing. Freelancing is a business, and when you Google it, when you look at freelancing, you see people doing van life, you see people on beaches, cafes. cozy home offices. Sometimes you're crammed at the dining room table. You're doing it on the sofa on a Sunday morning, that kind of stuff. It's not all unicorns and rainbows. Freelancing isn't just about doing what you love on your own terms. You need to think of it like a business, because that's what you're doing. You are building a business. Going into freelance with a business mindset is absolutely essential. You can't just go into it thinking, oh, well, I'm really good at this, or I can deliver this for clients. You need to look at it from the whole package, because you are now going to be the CEO. You are the salesperson. You are the marketing manager, the finance manager. And you may be thinking, well, actually, I just want to do the L&D stuff. I just want to design content. I just want to facilitate sessions. But actually, you need to find your clients. You need to manage your clients. You need to do the invoicing, all of this extra stuff. Because when you're a freelancer and you are working solo, you have to literally do everything, or you have to outsource certain things. So I personally have an accountant, because there's no way that I can do all of that stuff myself and everything else. So yeah, you are everything unless you outsource, but you need to actually earn money to give you the freedom to do the outsourcing. So you need to think, what's my niche? If you don't, excuse me, if you don't find a niche, you're going to risk blending in. And to be honest, the freelancing and the self-employed market in L&D, there's a lot of people in it. There's a lot of people transitioning from education into L&D. There's a lot of people being made redundant. So you need to be like, well, what actually makes me unique? What is my offer? What is what's going to make a client choose me over somebody else? So you need to do this pretty early on. You need to decide, what is your unique selling point? What is your unique product? And it might be your unique personality. It might be the way you do something, but you need to do that pretty early on. The clearer that you are about how you help people and why you help people, the easier it's going to be for clients to find you and for you to actually build that trust level with your client. If you say to people, I'm an L&D freelancer, that's not a pitch. It doesn't really say what you do. It says you do something in L&D, but it doesn't actually say what you're doing. But if you say something like, oh, I help you increase retention of your staff with targeted digital learning, that's a bit more specific. Crap example, I know. But anyway, start small, be focused, be super, super clear. You can always evolve your offering later. Yes, you can do a lot of things, especially if you've been in this industry for years. You'll have a lot of tools on your tool belt. But what is the one thing that your clients are going to want to come to you for? Like I said, you can evolve later, but start small, start with one thing. Relationships are going to beat resumes. Flat out. This is why we're encouraging you all to share your LinkedIn. If you haven't done it already, make sure that you're sharing it in the chat. Make sure that you're clicking those links and connecting with each other. Most freelance work comes through relationships, not applications. When a couple of years ago, before I started down the free spirits route, I was probably doing 70% of my work through recruiters, 30% through direct clients. Every single one of my direct clients was somebody that I'd either worked with before or had been recommended to me by somebody that I knew. And the recruiters, I was working with them and I'd built up a relationship with them over years. And I remember there was one recruiter and I'd known the guy there for a good 5 years. And we'd always, if we're at conferences, expos, have a cup of tea together. We'd ring each other and just have a quick chat and a check-in. And he contacted me after 5 years. He's like, I've got the perfect job for you. literally, it was me to an absolute T. And if I hadn't have nurtured that relationship for that 5 years, he wouldn't have thought of me instantly when he had that perfect opportunity. So nurturing your relationships is going to be absolutely key. And this is also really important when you're not freelancing. So when you're employed, start building your community, start building your network. Warm leads, referrals, and your network, they're worth more than any pitching. They're absolute gold dust. Whether you're, freelance, whether you're employed, networking is absolute key. If you are thinking of freelancing in the next 6 months, 12 months, something like that, build your online presence now. Start building your reputation before you leave your job. If you're not good at selling yourself, you don't have to be. Your main focus is building connections. You're not selling to people. People don't buy sales stuff. They buy emotion. One of my buddies, Viv, mentioned a quote yesterday on Challenge Hour. You don't buy the sausage, you buy the sizzle. You buy what someone will do for you. So build those connections. Make sure people know what you do so that when you do launch, when you do say, actually, yes, I am going freelance, people already know what you're doing. And the algorithm already knows who you are. The algorithm is already going to start favoring you. So start building your reputation, start building your presence online. Feast and famine is absolutely, it is manageable. Like I said earlier, you are going to see posts on LinkedIn, you see blogs, you'll see people who have been doing freelance stuff or, small business, self-employed for years, and you're like, oh, they're doing so well. They're jetting off to all of the, different places in the world. They're fancy hotels, they're doing this, they're doing everything. But the reality is, yes, you can get there. But when you first start out, your income is going to be super inconsistent when you first start. Until you build your client base and you start having those rolling projects and you start to really find your place, then your income is going to be up and down. Feast and famine. A lot of freelancers. There was a lot of competition for a dwindling amount of gigs. So a lot of people were having to use up their buffers. So there's going to be times when you may not have been paid for a couple of months. So you need to make sure that you have a financial buffer in place just in case. If you don't plan ahead, that's when panic starts creeping in. And that's when, sorry, I will try and turn off. I'm going to try and, I don't know how to turn that off. Hang on a minute. Waiting room, play doorbell sound. Okay, that's turned off now. Sorry about that. Yeah, so if you have a buffer, then it just makes things a heck of a lot easier, because if you go into this thinking, right, I can't guarantee that I am going to get paid for the next 3 months, 6 months, something like that, then you'll adjust your expectations, you'll adjust your spending habits. All the images that I've shown you are of happy freelancers, and I'm not bringing the doom and gloom. I'm just saying, when you search freelancing, like I said at the beginning, when you search for it online, you see all of these happy people. You don't see the amount of work that it goes in the back end to market yourself, to do your lead follow-ups, to do all your networking events, to speak on sessions like this, to speak on podcasts, to write blog posts, to get yourself out there. You don't see all of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. You're just seeing the face that, the internet wants to see you, or the face that people want to see you. This is your dose of reality. That being said, there's times when, yes, I've been pulling my hair out Would I go back to being employed? Absolutely not. Because yes, it's feast and famine. Yes, mountains and valleys. But it's amazing the amount of different clients that I can work with, the amount of different projects that I can work with. It's, yeah, I wouldn't go back to being employed. So that should tell you something. And this is the dose of reality that, yes, it's super, super hard. Yes, you're going to be working in a dark corner, like, you know, living under the stairs like Harry Potter with your laptop tapping away. But then you'll land a gig and that'll give you enough money for the year or something. It's feast and famine. And yeah, one of the big things that you need to think about is you don't have to do freelancing alone. Like I said earlier, relationships really are key. And freelancing, if you don't have those relationships in place, it can be really isolating, especially when you're first getting going. It can be lonely. That's what you need to look at communities. You need to maybe have a somebody's not muted. Okay, lovely. Thank you so much. So like I said, communities, mentors, co-working groups. So I run a co-working group in Leeds. Oyindamola runs one in Milton Keynes. These communities, these experiences can be absolute game changers, and they can really give you a boost. And also, you may meet people that will recommend you to their clients or to their company or something like that. You never know where an opportunity is going to come from. Invest in your network, both for your support, for your sanity. And if you're thinking, I'll just figure it out as I go along, you're going to make it harder for yourself. So the more people you surround yourself with, the better. So please make sure that everybody is muted who isn't muted, please. I'm just getting a little bit of feedback on the audio. So double check the top left-hand side. It might be red to have you muted, because whoever it is, I can hear you breathing. So yes, please mute if you can. Thank you very much. Okay, so freelancing isn't the dream because it's easy. It's the dream because it gives you freedom. And that's the main point. Freelancing is going to give you freedom from working on projects that you don't want to work on, from having to do the morning huddles that you don't have anything to do with, just because that's what the company does. You know, it's freedom to work on your own terms, on the projects that you want to do with the people that you want to do it with, and how you want to do it. You know, I cannot describe to you how freeing freelancing is once you have found your happy place. But like I said, when you start getting going, until you find your first couple of clients, it may be a little bit of a struggle. So sorry, Isabel, you can't hear. Just double checked my microphone is on. Andy can hear. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Right, this is going to be where you're going to get into the chat. Okay, so I'm going to show you 5 things. And I would like you to rate yourself 1 to 5. Now you can do this. This is more for those who are wanting to start freelancing, but even if you're employed and don't want to freelance yet, never say never. You can still get involved. So 1 is absolutely no. It is nope. Not me. Don't know it. Haven't a clue. And 5 is yes, absolutely, bang on. So the first one, rate yourself 1 to 5 in the chat, is when it decides to show up. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. For some reason. There we go. So first one, I know my niche. 1 to 5. So 1 is that you don't. 5 is, yes, I know my niche. My niche is super clear. I know what I'm doing. So we're getting some 2s, 5, 4s. 4 seems to be, I struggled for the longest time to find my niche. And it was one of the things that I had a mentor when I was first getting going. And he was like, you need to find your niche. And I'm like, yeah, but I can do all of this stuff. And all of this stuff I can do for all of these people. It's like, yeah, but you need to know what you're selling. Okay, but I can do everything. And it took me years to find what I actually wanted to do. So you may find that, yes, the 4s and the 5s, yes, I have my niche. Yes, I am laser focused. But when you actually start freelancing, like I decided my niche was that I was going to deliver blended learning to contact centers. I was going to specialize in contact centers, blended learning, induction building. And in the past nearly 8 years, I have done work in 2 contact centers, and that's it. All of my work has taken me elsewhere. So even though you have a niche, it can evolve. Okay. So the next one is I have a strong network, including potential clients. So go on. 1 to 5. So this is going to be a little bit different from the first one. We're getting a lot of what's. Irit, 5. Love that. Give yourself a high 5. Edward's at a 3. This was one of the things that when I was first starting out, my network was absolutely shocking. I literally had people from the 2 companies that I'd worked with on my network, and that was it. And then I started growing my network, but I was growing it with people in L&D. And they're not my client. So I have a strong L&D network, but actually when I was freelancing as Go Ginger Learning and trying to get into contact centers, I didn't have a strong network in that. So having a strong network that doesn't just include people that you can collaborate with, but also people that you can get on their radar as a freelancer, as a potential supplier, that's something that you cannot ignore as well. So yeah, the numbers have gone to the other side of the scale, which is pretty expected. Okay, so you could survive for 3 months, 6 months if you did not earn a bean. So 1 is absolutely not. 5 is, yeah, absolutely nailed it. So this is the more of a financial buffer you've got when you first get going, the less stressful it'll be finding clients, because the less pressure you'll put on yourself that I need to find work, I need to find work, I need to find work. For me personally, because I was so naive when I first started out, didn't have a clue about marketing myself, didn't have a clue about networking or any of that. I was 8 months before I got my first gig, and I had been made redundant from my previous role. So I had that financial buffer. If I didn't have that financial buffer, then it would have been, yeah, shocking. Okay. So getting some nice healthy numbers there. So Edward, yeah. So this is the thing now, when it starts running out, it's like, okay, I need a gig, I need a gig, I need a gig. And then you start like panicking, and that's where you can enter like the black hole of marketing, where you're just throwing stuff out there and hoping stuff sticks. Next one. I'm comfortable with marketing myself. What do we think? 1's no, 5 is yes. So we're getting some mixtures here again. I think I would probably say when I started out, I thought I was a 5. I was probably a 1. Because, yeah, I was like, yeah, I can do this, 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 and this. And it's amazing. And I can do all of this, but I was doing it so wrong. I mean, I posted physical flyers to companies. No, don't do that. So we're getting some good, healthy numbers. Theo, background in sales and marketing. Love that. That will see you really well when you do go out on your own. Okay, so one of my top tips for marketing is be consistent on social media, because they are all run by algorithms, and the algorithm is your friend. So be consistent. If you are thinking, I'm going to post twice a week, stick to twice a week. Plan your posts, use a content planner, have a marketing schedule, have a strategy, plan your posts. You can do a theme of the month, whatever it is, whatever works for you. I have a content planner, and I put things in there, weeks and weeks in advance. And then on a Sunday morning, go onto Canva, do my visuals, and type up a bunch of copy. And I use the LinkedIn scheduler, and I schedule a bunch of posts. So at the minute, all of my posts for this week, done. Some of them for next week, done. If you think to yourself, every 2 days I'm going to go on and I'm going to write about something that I want to write about, you won't do it, because you've got to then think about, what the bloody hell am I going to say? How am I going to angle it? What's my call to action? All of that kind of stuff. Then you start thinking of things. So plan what you're going to say and batch cook, basically. So there's my top tips. And last off, you have some client leads lined up. So you've already started doing some relationship building. Quite often, your previous employer could be a potential client. So it's something never leave a door slammed. So, excuse me. So we've got some 3s, 1s. Yeah, and this is where I was saying, start building your network with potential clients. You're not selling to them at this point. You are getting on their radar. You're commenting on their posts. You're starting to, it's like ninja marketing. You're starting to shuffle into their consciousness. So then when you're ready, they're like, oh yeah, I've seen that person around. There's already a level of trust there. If you have clients, if you have potential clients lined up already, make sure that you're keeping them warm. So you're keeping in contact with them. Like I said, that recruiter, and I'd see him as a client, I was chatting to him for years until the time was right. Because just because they are a potential amazing client, the time may not be right for what you do, for what you're going to give them. The time may not be right. So nurture. Keep at the top of their mind. Comment on their posts. Comment on their company page posts. All of that kind of stuff. Okay, so my top tips. If you are serious about doing this in the future, first and foremost, get support. Start building your network. Think about joining a community. And there's lots of communities out there. There's L&D Shakers. There's the Learning Network. There's my community, L&D Free Spirits, which is just for freelancers. So you got to be serious about freelancing or already doing it to join my community. There's loads of local communities. So check where you are in the world. What is there around you? The chances are they're going to be full of freelancers and employed people. So Theo's just put a question in. I'm just going to come to this before we move on. What are the signs? How do we know that they're potential clients? The company may have their own L&D team. Yes, they may do, but their L&D team may be stuck doing inductions and too busy to design their content. So you don't know somebody's a client really until they're a client, but you want to keep on their radar and you want to keep them aware of what you do and how you do it. So nurture, Theo, nurture them. And then when the time is right, they'll become a client. Trust the process. Treat this like a business. You're not doing this for shits and giggles. Pardon the language. You are a business. You are a business owner. You are an entrepreneur. You are a solopreneur. Whatever label you want to put on it, you are your business. You have to treat it like a business. You have to make sure that you are doing the business development as much as you would do personal development when you're employed. You know, you nurture your skill set, you learn new skills. That's why you're here today, to learn of all of the amazing speakers that we've got coming up. You need to put the same amount of effort into your business development. Don't wait until you are ready. It's like having kids. If you wait until you're ready to have a kid, you'll never have kids. Saying that as somebody who doesn't have kids, but you get my point. If you wait until the perfect time, there will never be a perfect time. I've wanted to freelance for years and years and years. It was always on my plan, and it wasn't until I was made redundant that I actually had the push to do it and the financial backing to do it. So think about, when are you going to do it? And don't think, I'll do it when I'm ready. I'll do it when I've got this. I'll do it when I've got that. Make a decision and actually stick to it. And yes, Ohi and Damola, there's communities as well. Elid, sorry, didn't get the shout out there. So that is pretty much done. Drop the mic. Thank you very much. I think I have another minute or two left. I know that we've got Richard coming on at 11. So any questions, bob them in the chat. I'm always happy to jump on a call as well. Just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I did share my LinkedIn earlier, but I'm just going to bob a couple of links in the chat to Free Spirits, to our company page. I hope you've enjoyed the session. I hope it was real enough, but not too much to scare you. Because like I said, freelancing, it's freaking awesome. I love it. Tips for contacting a potential customer. I would say talk to them like they're people. Do not try and sell to them. As soon as you sell, then people are just going to shut down. So we did a webinar a while ago on somebody who was searching the job ads and then getting in touch with those potential clients and saying, look, I see you've got this job available. I'm a freelancer. I can plug the gap until you find someone if you want. You might get a month work out of it. You might get a couple of weeks, something like that. So reach out, say, hi, how are you doing? How's tricks in your world? Don't even go in with sell. This is what I do. Just start a conversation. People buy from people. So just have a conversation with them and don't sell. So does that help, Irit? Okay, so Ian Demola is just putting a reflection tree on there. So I am going to stop sharing my screen so you can all see that. Hopefully I've stopped sharing. Yeah, so you're all very, very welcome. Oh, got a klaxon there.
That was amazing. Just let's show some love to Kim. Show some love. Use the react button. You see reactions. You see soundbird. Let's show some love. That was pretty amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Wow, so much value in there. I love the part that she talked about the reality of freelancing. It's pretty much like starting any business. You want to be sure that you have some buffer in place because it might take a while before you land your first client, which is very useful to know. That was something that I picked from this session. So please, if you're looking at the screen now, the reflection tree, you have access to it. We can collaborate. Just pick any of these boxes, copy and paste, right click, and just duplicate. And then you can change it to any color you want on the right side. I'm changing this to yellow. Then in there, if you click on it, you're able to type your reflection. Let's do that in the next 3 minutes that we're waiting to switch to the next session. And if you look to your right, you're going to see QR codes. If you want to connect with Ellis on Instagram, Discord, LinkedIn, or if you want to help sustain future events, like I mentioned earlier, this event is free, the workshops, please let's not move the QR codes, just use your phone to scan. I'm going to lock them down now. Forgot to do that. So please put in your reflection. Let's have them arranged on the left bottom side for session 1. That's another thing I should have done. I'm going to do that now. Kim. So here we have Kim's session. So on this side of the tree, let's believe this is a branch for freelancing. Just arrange your content around here. Amazing, amazing. Does anyone have any more questions? In the next minute, we're going to end this session and move to the next one, which is education through a global lens. I know we had about 5 minutes. I think I took about 5 minutes out of Kim's time earlier. Well, please, let's put in our reflections. I'll give us 2 minutes. Richard, are you around? I need to spotlight you in the next session. If this is the time to also ask him any questions you have. Let's make use of the QR codes. Let's put in our reflection, and I'm going to share the link for this reflection tree so that even after now you can keep on putting in your reflection. All right. Yeah, I can see the pointers are the pointers are blocking the QR code. Are you still able to see? Are you able to see the QR code now, Edward P? All right. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this session. In the next session, which is going to start in about a minute or two, I'm going to share the link for this reflection tree so that throughout the session you have access